to Joel. And I came to Joel because I had this idea for a harp that I could wear, and it would be like if an electric guitar married a concert harp and they have a child. This is what I should wear. And I wanted to be able to play with a rock band, I wanted to be able to play with a symphony orchestra and to wear it and move around. And I went to builders and I asked them to build it, and they built me things, but they had no idea exactly what I wanted. So I made a little prototype. I took a little harp and I covered it, I made it look like a Stratocaster, and I put a harness on it, and I took it to Joel, and I went, and he said, literally he said, "Ah, Deborah, now I understand what you want." And then the next time I saw him, he gave me this harp.
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning for me. And then and at that point, you were just trying the harps, right? Where were you?
Yes. But I mean, I started to work with Joel in '88.
Okay.
And
I don't remember when I first. Oh, '88. I hadn't even thought of this.
Our first meeting was 90 in Paris.
I met you in 90?
I met you in 19. You
Okay.
probably don't remember that you met me, but I will never forget that when I met you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
Because you played at the World Harp Congress
Right.
and the Salgavo, and I
Yes.
was in the audience,
Yes.
and I couldn't believe what I was seeing on stage. But you were playing the pedal harp.
I was playing the pedal harp. I had a band with me.
Yeah.
So what did you see?
You?
But I mean, what did you see me doing that was different? Because I wasn't thinking that I was doing anything different.
No, but I mean, you were one of the very first harpists that I saw on stage playing some very different music, kind of jazz storytelling and playing with your body as much as you could and making all these jokes and opening a new window to the harp world.
Aha.
A new door, maybe
And-
even. A new gate.
Okay, and this is all part of the story, because at that
Yes.
point, I felt very caught behind the harp.
Absolutely.
And I was trying to find a way to be physical with it, and I was working with a mime. And once I got as physical as I could with the big harp, then I knew I had to
Yeah.
wear it.
Yes.
So then I had this idea, and then I came to Joel with the idea.
Mm.
So that must have been, I don't know when I came. Do you know when the very first one was made?
I don't
96?
Yeah, maybe earlier.
Okay, I know that I toured with the Big Blue
Yes, in Germany.
in Germany, and I considered
remember
myself the
that.
beta tester.
Yeah.
I would push it as far as I could.
Yeah.
All right.
The Big Blue was launched that same year, 90, when you played in Paris and when we met.
Right.
So this was the very first.
That was my first introduction to Joel.
Yeah.
So then I had this idea. I brought it to Joel. He made the prototype. I began playing it. It was hard because there was no harness. I had to build the harness.
Yes.
Well, I had already built a harness, so I just added the harness to it. And by the way, that harp did have a little button on it. Just saying.
Yes, because you used it, in fact.
I used it, yeah, because it was a great. I wondered, what is this? And then I ended up using it, which was really. It became an important part of the instrument.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a little button
Oh.
from the guitar.
That's great. That's the button. That's the button I want. Oh, thank you. Good. That's back. So when you came, so when did Joel die?
September 11, 2000.
So up until that point, only he was just making this, which we call the baby blue.
Yes, the Baby Blue made of wood,
That's
and
right.
which was getting heavier and
And
heavier
heavier.
every time we wanted to improve its
Right.
reliability.
I want to say one other thing. I came to CAMAC because in 1988, I went to Edinburgh and I saw Patsy Seddon and Mary McMaster playing your electro harp.
Yes.
And they were playing in concert with a rock band. And they were standing, and I saw them, and that was an explosion moment from my head. That was 88.
Oh yes, 88.
That was
yes,
88.
yeah,
I saw that.
absolutely.
And I tried to wear
Really?
that. And I don't know,
It's huge.
it was huge, I know, but I had this idée fixe. And I mean, when I had this idea, I would try any harp. I kept, it's like, can I carry this around?
No, it's-
I tried so hard
Yeah.
to wear that harp, but that was what gave me the idea to come to Joel. So then he made the Baby Blue, which was great. Then he died in 2000. And you came in. You were his protege.
Yes, I've been
okay.
working with him almost 12 years
Okay.
when he died, and then it was our long-time plan that I would take over the company. So
Okay.
we have been working. I've been part of all these developments
That's
since
right.
the very first Blue Harp, which was the color was just copied from my glasses. So
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Joel told me that it was blue off of my story of the Blue Harp.
No, because the Blue Harp, we heard the story after
Oh.
we made the Blue Harp.
Okay, well,
So
that's good.
I have the evidence of my glasses,
Okay, great.
which have been copied by the varnish man.
Okay, excellent. Okay, all right. So then in 2000 you took over. You started improving the harp.
No. We have
Already?
constantly improved the harp
Okay.
over the years. I mean, we have improved the pickups. We have improved the main concern about the Baby Blue was to have it as rigid as possible so that it would not bend under the pressure of the string.
Was that starting to happen?
Yes, of course. This is why we first put this front wing, for example.
I wonder.
This is why we made it thicker, this is why we made it heavier, and this is why, I don't remember in which year you told me it's really too heavy.
It was the year.
When we were in Arles.
Exactly. But I do remember wearing, I know you gave me one, I put it on and I was like, whoa, this is too far.
This was the heaviest we have
Right.
ever made.
Right, and I remember we had a conversation at that point, and I remember I said to you,
You told me that you couldn't wear it.
right,
It was too heavy, and I knew why we went to that point, just with the concern of making it reliable.
right,
And then that was when you mentioned the bicycles.
right. And I know that at that point there were not very many people buying it. Because I remember when I first had the idea, I was like, this is the harp of the future. As soon as this harp exists, everybody is going to want to buy this. Come on. Hey, where's everybody? And so...
No, I mean, we were making as many as we would expect because we were making electric harps from... You mentioned the electric harps from
Right.
you saw in '88. I had my own first electric harp when I was a teenager, so
Yeah.
we had an experience of making electric harps and how many we could possibly make. And this was just a new model and a continuation of this kind of quantities.
Right.
But then you mentioned the bicycle and the
Right.
idea of the similarity of shape between the frame of bicycle and the body of the harp, and I thought, this is really, really strange, but it's a good idea.
Thank you. So exactly what did you do? Did you take a harp to the bicycle factory?
No. As I said when we were in the workshop, I introduced you to the manager of the workshop, and I knew that he was a very high-level cyclist in competition, so I shared this idea with him and with our engineer that he's now retired, and said, okay, what if we got in touch with a bicycle company? I didn't know anything about this, so they taught me about the different kind of bicycles and the wheels and the carbon fiber and the weight, and then I said, but are there any bicycle company in France? Because I'm quite I thought they were just all Japanese high-tech companies.
I thought they were all in France.
So we found this company who was ready to develop this idea of making a harp using the technology they have developed for their bicycle.
So I want to know what happened when you spoke to who's the bicyclist here?
Philippe?
Philippe.
Mm-hmm.
When you spoke to Philippe, I just want to know about that conversation. What did he say? What was his first thing?
He said
Really?
something like that.
Okay, so at no point he was like, brilliant.
No, because we are Breton. And
Okay.
because we are Breton, we are not too much expensive people. So
Okay.
we take the time to think of what we will say.
Okay.
I mean, the idea was, it was obvious that if you draw the triangle of the harp,
Right.
if we put two wheels and
Yes.
a seat, then it's a bicycle.
Exactly,
So,
right.
so this was yes, of course.
So that's interesting. So that's part of the difference. I mean, I'm always interested in the relationship between the conceptualizer, who is just like, but of course, you can take a bike apart and make it, it's of course, and the person who actually has to do it.
Mm.
Because you can conceive, as Oliver Wendell Holmes says, conceived in splendor, brought forth in labor and pain.
Mm.
You can always conceive in a
Yes,
moment of
very
splendor, but then to develop it, it is a completely different.
It took a lot of time. First, to discuss with this company, because the way they were making harps was completely different from
You mean
the
bicycles?
way. Yes, bicycles. No, the way they
They
would make the harps for us
Oh, I
was
see.
very different than what we used to do. Before working with them, we would do the wrapping of the body with a vacuum. I mean, we would cover with carbon fiber and then vacuum in a bag so that it will press the carbon fiber
I see.
around the body. With that technology, it's just not possible. We had to invest in a huge metal mold,
I see.
and first of all, it was a big investment to consider.
Right.
And then we had to find a way to. We had to find a good material. The foam that you saw is not just like a foam. It's a foam which is compatible with the way, with their technology, the kind of pressure that we put in the mold, the kind of heat that we have.
I see.
When we made the harp before was with a vacuum system, so it was cold
Mm-hmm.
and the pressure was low. Now it's high pressure with high temperature.
How did you find this foam? What other?
With them,
Okay.
we had advices from them, so we had to find a compromise between what they would request for the foam to be compatible with their mold
Oh.
and what we could use on our machine.
How that's
And
going to work
this,
together.
we had to make a lot of samples. A lot of
Ah.
samples with little piece of foam
I see.
in the side of the harp, see how the foam reacts to the mold, and then we had to decide the thickness of the harp because the distance between the two sides will give the rigidity, but also the weight of carbon for each harp is important to decide how thick the carbon will
I
be.
see.
So
Does it make it more rigid if it's
Yes,
thicker?
absolutely, but
Uh-huh.
it makes it also heavier
I see.
and much more expensive. So we had to
Ah.
find the good balance by calculation.
You're
It
always
took a
right.
few years.
Right.
It was not just like this.
And when you went to the bicycle builders, what did they say when you said?
In fact, they did not allow us to went to them. We have no idea how they make, and we are not. They never allow us to see the machine.
It's secret.
It's secret, completely secret. We have no idea, but it is in France.
What made you willing? I remember talking to Joel at one point and asking him about what was his passion, and was it to sell many harps, and he said that it was to be working with the greatest artists and to be making the greatest instruments, and to be. It wasn't about volume. It was about quality
Mhm.
and being on that cutting edge. Is that?
Exactly the same. I couldn't say better.
Uh-huh.
I mean, quantities. Who cares?
Right.
It's really most important is really to develop an instrument for someone. And it has over the past 15 years since he passed away, I have continuously made the same kind of project with this with a few harpists, because of course there are not so many harpists who are at that level that they have innovative dreams which needs to be taken care of by a harp maker. But this is really my passion, is to see the harp develop and take new direction. I mean, when I see today young harpists, teenagers who play rock with a band in their garage, exactly what I have always dreamed to do when I was their age. I think it's such an achievement.
Yes, and I have very mixed feelings because part of me is like, I was on a Skype session the other day with some of my clients. They were all, in every single image, there was a DHC. Every one of them was playing it. I was like, wow. And then I see people on YouTube doing amazing things, and on one hand I'm like, wow, that was a dream. I remember when I dreamt of this instrument. And so I'm excited about it. And I'm also jealous because I think it took me 15 years to get, or 20 years to get this. They can just go and buy it,
Yes,
which is amazing.
And you see them on TV, you see them with rock stars, you will see them everywhere with their DHCs. It's really, really opened a new world to the harpists of today.
So what happened? There was a point at which I was playing the baby blue and it wasn't moving. And then, when you made the DHC, it just seemed like...
Yeah, it's completely changed. As I told you last year, we made within the first 6 months, we made the whole production we had planned for the entire year. So I think the weight and the easiness of carrying and traveling with it made the big difference.
That's great, and I remember one time I was asking you about it, and I said, what happened? And you said, well, you see, you have now been there for a generation, and young people have seen this. Before, it was something coming out of the blue.
Yes, it is true. Now the young harpists who buy the DHC, who play the DHC, don't know that it did not exist before. They have a DHC, they have a cell phone and a computer, and that's their life.
Yeah, that's been, I can still remember.
It's part of the harp picture today, to have an electric harp that you can carry and play like Deborah.
Thank you. And well, I've also seen other people, older harpists, choose it because of the weight.
Because of the weight.
I know that there's another one of my clients or students used it. She's a choir director, and to be able to keep it and with a choir and to be able to put it on a stand, have it amplified, be able to conduct, and then go over and play. It has all that flexibility. And more recently, I started working with dancers. And I'll show you a picture of it. I worked with a dance company. I didn't have a stand with me. So I said, this dancer is going to be my stand. And so she used it as part of the dance and also stood with it, which was really great. It became really important in that way.
But the fact that this harp exists now for about 10 years, I would say, and the fact that it's really heavy, really light and easy to carry, the interesting development which I had not at all thought of at the beginning is that it gave some ideas to other kind of harpists to ask me to make a different version of the DHC.
Aha, so what's the newest?
The first new version, the first development was to have a DHC with 36 strings. And the DHC 36, the interesting thing is the DHC version of the harp you saw in 88 in Edinburgh. That's exactly the same harp, but the wooden body is now the carbon fiber.
So that's a big circle.
It's a big circle, yeah.
Okay, so I want one of those. Okay, just one here. And do people wear that as well?
No. This is not, only for the interest is the weight.
How much does it weigh?
Almost the same, maybe 1 kilo more. I mean,
why doesn't anybody wear it?
Because it's really big.
I want to wear it.
Okay.
And what else? What are the others?
Then I have been in touch with a Venezuelan harpist. When the first time I visited Venezuela, I met this harpist called Leonard Jacome, and he had a dream of an electric llanera, and the llanera is the harp from north of South America. And then he knew you, and he said, I want a DHC harp, but in the shape of the llanera. So it's not a harp that you would carry. I mean, what he wanted is a light carbon fiber. Use the technology that we have developed for your harp, to make a Yanera harp.
And the wonderful thing about it, just from a performance standpoint, from a hearing standpoint, is it's powerful, and yet it is intimate. That's what I love about it, is because it is so powerful, the audience can hear intimacy much better.
Yes, because they are much closer to the sound.
That's right, that's right. So now you're making a Yanera as well.
Yes, and last year I've been many times to Paraguay, which is really the country of the harp.
Exactly.
And after meeting all these people, and they are so crazy about the DHC, but they cannot really play it because it's not the same spacing, not the same tension, not the same strings. And they were really asking me to make a Paraguayan DHC. So I made it last year.
Wow.
And now we have made 3 already. One was delivered last month to Puerto Rico.
Whoa.
And it's made, the color is a BMW blue finish.
Ah, yes, okay, so the painting, I know you can get a flat harp, but you can get a painted one.
Yes.
Who does the painting?
So it's one of the experts in, how do you call this?
Airbrushing?
Airbrushing painting, and it's incredible, this workshop for this painter is 30 minutes drive from here. It could have been anywhere in France at least, or even in the world, but he is like 20 kilometers from here, and he has a school for
Airbrushing.
and a huge workshop in which he decorates trucks and cars and...
Okay, so trucks and cars and motorcycles and helmets and harps.
And harps, of course. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
He made the first flames on the first harp, you may remember.
Yes, I do.
And then he made a design of what we call the true fire. So
yes, I remember that.
The flame decoration that we offer to our customers on our catalog, and he makes every possible custom finish.
So do people go and do people say, what are some of the weirdest things people have asked for?
We made a very nice harp covered with butterflies, for example.
Oh, okay. And I don't mean weird, I mean unusual and wonderful.
Yes.
So butterflies, but nobody's asked for angels yet, right?
Not yet, no.
Rainbows, not yet. See, I was
rainbows, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we made a rainbow harp. For
Interesting.
Spanish harpists.
Okay, so I mean, I definitely wanted flames because I always wanted to go against the idea of the harp.
Yeah. So he did, I don't remember exactly, he made, every time we have a special order, we ask the customer to send us their design, and then he will make some samples, and when everybody agrees on the result and on the price, of course, then he will paint the harp.
This is incredible because when I think about where I was, what the harp world was when I was first imagining this, I certainly didn't imagine it being airbrushed or anything like that, but I mean, there was nothing like this. So in the last 25 years,
15,
there's been a complete change. And for me, we don't have a really generic name for it. The harness harp, the body harp, I sometimes call it. I think of it as a prosthetic harp. So because it's, sometimes I think of it as a prosthetic voice. It's an extra voice. It's a voice I don't have as a human, that I'm able to wear this harp, and it expands my creative expression, not just as a player, but actually as an artist, as a single artist. And for me, that's important, the individuality, to be able to have it be part of me. And so it's made it be part of me.
And I am then very proud to have been able to make something which is part of you.
Thank you. And I think that's part of the important story, is how that fits together, how someone has a concept, somebody is willing to invest in it, because you invested so much before it actually started paying off. Yes?
I'm
sure you still are. Yeah, that's right.
Because of course part of the choice of the machine you saw was it has to be able to produce the parts for the DHC, of course.
when we talk about the future, I think of the future of performance, and you think of the future of
Very
manufacturing.
instrument, yes, of
So
course.
I'm thinking of what are all the things I can do with this. Like, I don't know if you know that I did a show called Honey, I Shrunk the Harp, where I made the harp, this harp, 25 feet tall, and added a sculpture below it.
Mhm.
And then the show was all about reaching up to this and eventually taking it off the pedestal and being able to wear it. So I'm always thinking, what more can I do with the thing you gave me as it is? How can I dress it up? What can I add to it? And you're thinking, because I put feathers on it, I did amazing things to it. And you're always thinking of how can I take this further in the world?
Where is she driving me?
Yeah, right.
What's
Right.
in the next direction?
Right, and I love, and then there's always all these other people. So I just think it's such a fascinating story. One person has an idea. Another person with the power of creating something is willing to take that idea and move with it. And then it affects thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people as audience
Yes, absolutely.
and as players. And then it affects creativity because it gives a new tool for creativity.
Yes, absolutely. What I like about one of the things I really love about the DHC Harp is that it really brings the harp to new audiences and completely change the image of the harp to the great audience. Because they would, whatever the kind of music you would play on a harp, if you're sitting behind the harp, even if you play very innovative music or jazz or sing, you will always be sitting behind a harp. And you will never be in places where the larger audiences will see you, and now it's possible.
Right, and that's incredible. I mean, when I think of I can have pictures in my mind of the moments, the moment that I took my harp to a mime and said, help me get out from behind this. Everything we did, and then sitting, I remember it was a New Year's Eve, I was sitting on my porch, I had a glass of champagne, and I was like, wait, I have an idea. I see myself wearing a harp. And then everything that happened after that. And now here, I feel like we're at the beginning.
Et voilà!
Boom! So thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Bravo!
Merci, bravissimo.